This is Mega Man X4, the coolest game ever! It has robots and laser swords, and a wrongfully accused military unit striving for independence and being put to death for committing such a treasonous act. That's radical! And it also happens to be my favorite PS1 game. And I don't say that lightly. We're talking a guy that played all the hits. Final Fantasy, Crash Bandicoot, Oddworld, Strikers 1945, Skeleton Warriors. Maybe not as good as I remember. The point is, when I sat down and really thought about which game truly fires on all cylinders for me, the choice was obvious. With its sublime soundtrack, graphics, and gameplay, and even the short length allowing me to start a new game and knock it out in an afternoon, there really was no other choice than Mega Man X4. And today, I'm going to tell you all about why combining this with this was one of my favorite things to do as a kid. Welcome to the Bone Zone. Mega Man X, the result of somebody at Capcom saying, you know, this blue dude is fun and all, but he's not cool. Why don't we try giving him an edgier coat of paint for the Super Nintendo? Thus, X was born, and he rocked. Everything about these games was designed to make it the more mature alternative to the relatively kiddie style of OG Mega Man. Cutman? Please. Now Crush Crawfish? Hell yeah, that's what a killing machine should look like. Too bad his Japanese name is Scissors Shrimper. Even just the helmet design giving X and Zero permanent frowns was all I needed to know that, oh yeah, these guys are cool. And that's why when I saw X4 on the shelf at a local EB Games for just 20 bucks, I knew it had to be mine. That was one of the benefits of the greatest hits label given to the best PS1 games. You'd often find them brand new for greatly reduced prices, which is good news for a kid with nothing but birthday, holiday, and grass cutting money to spend. I took that game home, gleefully popped it in, and was greeted by an anime intro with an instrumental theme that was composed for regions outside of Japan. General, can you come up with literally any other salute, please? The Japanese version has a song with lyrics, but eh. I've come around on it a bit, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like it fits with the theme of the game at all. If you absolutely must have an anime theme for an X game, then you gotta make it a cool one, like this. Whew, I still get goosebumps from that title screen. But then I saw the Japanese version and it's so much better. Oh yeah, the series is called Rockman in Japan, by the way. Never thought too much about it, but I always assumed it was because of the rockin' tunes. Like I said, X is the series for big boys that wear the big boy pants. And unlike the Super Nintendo games, where the story could mostly be ignored, the upgrade to the PlayStation meant X was now ready for a big boy story to tell. And that story is...
Shut the f*** up, no one cares about your robot fanfiction.
Nobody's buying Mega Man games for the gripping plots, but I'll give it to you in a nutshell. A military group called Repliforce is wrongfully accused of attacking Sky Lagoon. Because of this, they decide to leave the planet to form an independent civilization in space. Unfortunately, the ship they go with happens to be a weaponized satellite pointed directly at the Earth, because who would ever be suspicious of that? Naturally, X and Zero are given the order to neutralize the now Maverick leaders of the coup, eventually leading to yet another showdown with Sigma, the recurring big baddie of the series. You get some unique story bits depending on who you choose at the start. X ends his story worrying that one day he might go Maverick and requests that Zero be the one to stop him should that day come, which I think might actually be what happens in the Mega Man Zero series. Not sure, I'm pretty rusty on those. As for Zero, well, if you wanted to learn more about this guy's backstory, then this is the game to play. We've known since the beginning that X was created by Dr. Light, but X4 is where we confirm that Zero was created by Dr. Wily from the original series, who with a name like that, I don't think I need to tell you is a bad guy, right up there with Dick Dastardly and Verminous Scum. You get this brutal flashback scene before the final boss, where Zero, under Wily's programming, nearly rips off Sigma's head, but he's stopped by the power of Deus Ex Migraine, and Sigma clocks him in the noggin, presumably transferring Wily's programming to him and turning him into the evil Sigma we know today. Now I just gotta ask, how in the hell did this game get away with an E for everyone rating from the ESRB? Right at the start of Zero's scenario, you get a cutscene showing mangled Reploids and Zero's hands covered in what absolutely did not have to look like human blood. I was a young teen when I first saw this, and it was pretty disturbing. I know they're robots, but they're portrayed to be so similar to humans that there might as well not be any distinction.
Fucking robots. Don't give a fuck about no robots. They ain't got no soul.
Accompanying these story scenes is some really bad English voice acting, where X sounds more like what his younger counterpart should sound like.
What if I become one of the Mavericks?
I couldn't shake the feeling that he sounds exactly like OG from Mega Man 8.
I understand, Dr. Light. I'm on it.
And yup, it's the same voice actor for both. X definitely needed a more mature sounding voice. Even the Mega Man from the cartoon would have been better, which actually had a special episode with X and a really embarrassing typo for Sigma.
I couldn't let Mega Man X have all the fun.
Zero fares slightly better in English, with the exception of one infamous scene after he's forced to kill Iris, sister of Repliforce's Colonel. Unfortunately, since my Zero run was on the Japanese version, where the voice acting is infinitely better by the way, I don't have footage of this scene in English, and I don't really want to play through the whole game again just for that. Ooh, I know!
I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light!
Alright, enough of this story stuff. Let's pick a character and get to some gameplay.
Yeah! Hell yeah, that's the good stuff, baby!
Look, I'm gonna say a lot of things in this video that'll make some people raise their eyebrows, but I don't care, I'm committing to this. I think this is the best track in the entire X series. Damn, Capcom put that CD quality music to good use here. There's a reason why this track was chosen as X and Zero's theme in Project Cross Zone. Pop quiz. What's the first thing any seasoned X player changes when starting a new game? You're damn right it's switching dash to the right shoulder button. We're 4 games in and Capcom still hasn't figured out that this is the optimal way to play these games. One smart change they did make is now you just have to hold down the button to dash jump. It makes zooming through levels way easier and really satisfying. I've heard some folks say that this game's on the easier side, and yeah, compared to X2, 3, and definitely the next couple PS1 games, X4's levels are mostly a breeze. This part in the volcano is stupid easy to dash jump through, and even tough parts like this section in the chemical lab can easily be skipped with brute force. You get a full heal on the transition to Act 2 after all, might as well just take the hits. Probably the biggest challenge for newcomers is Act 1 of Cyberspace. Getting through it is easy. Getting through it fast and nabbing an S rank can be a little tougher without the right special weapon, but you definitely want to do it for the sweet upgrades. Now, there's a little disclaimer to everything I just said about being easy. All of that changes when you pick Zero. It's a simple matter to keep a charged buster shot at the ready with X and just annihilate anything that comes into frame. But Zero's all about getting close and personal with his Z-Saber, and it makes the game a lot more fun. We'll talk more about this later, but all you need to know is that if you're new, you pick X for your first run so you can learn the ropes, and then go with Zero for the more engaging experience. Speaking of Zero, I wonder what brand of tighty whities he wears over his uniform. I feel like that's an overdone joke, but I swear I've never heard anybody make it. Can you believe that Sony actually discouraged 2D games being released on their hot new system? That's the kind of short-sighted thinking that threatened to ruin some of the most beautiful looking games of my childhood. The air fleet with battleships flying by and the lit up city below, the waterfalls in the background and foreground in the Amazon, oh, and the piece de resistance, the snow base. Gotta be my favorite level. The snow-covered trees in the background give me huge Final Fantasy VII vibes, and I like how these robo-birds freeze the entire room if you don't kill them fast enough. Even enemies get turned to ice. And check it out, right at the start, there's Blizzard Buffalo from X3, and even Chill Penguin shows up in the mini-boss room. Always love a good callback. The PS1 trilogy would only get better looking with each game, but X4 ain't too shabby in the visuals department. Remember when X had a laser scarf? That's it really, I just felt like we should acknowledge the laser scarf. Let's talk about the stars of any Mega Man X game, the Maverick bosses. Out of everything the character designer is responsible for, I'd bet money that designing the Mavericks is what they enjoy the most. And unlike the levels, they can be pretty tough. Magma Dragoon is absolutely relentless, pulling out more moves than a fighting game character, even using moves from a fighting game character. You can easily bring a ride armor into this fight to soften him up. It always makes me feel dirty, but a Mega Man's gotta do what a Mega Man's gotta do. Slash Beast has a counter move that always catches me by surprise. Getting a counter special weapon from him would have been way more interesting than this dinky V laser. Oh, by the way, Slash Beast? And I thought the Guns N' Roses naming convention was until the next game. Boss weaknesses have been a long-time staple of the series, but I've always considered them a crutch, a way to ruin an otherwise fun fight. However, with Cyber Peacock and Storm Owl, I have no problem using their weaknesses. These fights are a pain without them. I've never been able to consistently dodge these homing laser feathers, and this platform is a little too hard to reach without getting smacked by Storm Owl. And you know what? Screw Split Mushroom too. That fight's just boring. Cool background though. I love Frost Walrus's design, how he stomps into frame all big and imposing. Too bad he's the easiest boss by far. If I catch you resorting to using his weakness, I'm coming to your house and taking away your gamer card. But there's one more thing you should know about this guy and some of the other Mavericks. Their names in Japanese can be interesting. Let's just say that Kibatodos doesn't seem to be the Japanese name for walrus. Web Spitus? Okay, I actually like that name. Split Mushroom is still just Split Mushroom, but then you get Storm Fukurol and Cyber Kujacker? What the f*** is a Kujacker? Remember how useful special weapons were in the first game? It was less a question of using the right weapons on certain enemies, and more, what do I feel like killing you with today? Flash forward to X4 and man, what happened? I'd understand having a few useless weapons, that's a problem most of these games have, but here, I can get some use out of Rising Fire, but that's about it. X's Mega Buster is more than enough for just about everything, especially when powered up with the Plasma Shot arm upgrade, otherwise known as Red Gloves. The coverage of this shot is huge, and it leaves behind a damaging ball that utterly destroys some enemies. Or you could take the Blue Gloves to store up to 4 charged shots, which I have never done, not once in all my years of playing this. Aside from the arm upgrades, the body armor halves damage and gives you an invincible dash attack. Good for levels, but I never could get much use out of it on bosses. The boots let you hover for a bit and air dash, and the helmet not only gives you unlimited special weapon energy, but also lets you charge up specials into new attacks. And I still almost never use it, but getting a Shoryuken is pretty cool. Man, what was it with the X series always getting moves from Street Fighter? Get him decked out with every armor piece and you can turn X into a real badass. But Zero, well, he was a badass from the start. Everything I said about special weapons being useless, yeah, that's not the case with this guy. All of his moves can be used on the fly without any weapon switching. He gets a sideways special, up special, down special. He's basically designed like a Smash character. Having all these cool moves readily available makes for a playstyle that is 10 times more fun than X's, but it's also way harder, especially against the final form of Sigma, unless you know about a sweet spot and how to dash cancel to pull off a bunch of rapid sword swings. Damn it, I always forget about that. There's something I need to come clean with you guys on. This game has a serious problem, and it would be irresponsible of me not to warn my fellow male viewers. Because it happened to me, and it can happen to you too. This is the story of how X4's soundtrack blew my balls off. I could make an entire video explaining why I think this soundtrack is the best in the series, and why every time I hear somebody say that X5 or 6 had the better music, I throw my head back and laugh. Let's start with the most key evidence. X4's sublime tunes were composed by Toshihiko Horiyama, who you have to thank for the darkly delicious OST of Demon's Crest and the password screen theme from the first X game. He also worked as a production assistant for Ghost Trick, which is just interesting enough to make me finally want to try it. Horiyama has an incredible understanding of what makes a rock-solid melody, and now with X4, where the improved graphics allow for much stronger level theming, he stepped up and composed an OST that matches said theming while still keeping the strong melodies of the series. A volcano is the kind of place where you would never feel at ease, and the track captures that sensation of danger with a constant droning roar behind the main melody. It makes this level feel loud and hectic. On the flip side, you get the snow bass. The melody is a lot less pronounced here, letting the atmosphere of a quiet snowfall take center stage. At least for Act 1, Act 2 is a return to form. Why aren't you playing this game yet? Cyberspace might be my favorite level theme. It leans hard into the synthy tones that are this game's main motif, and fills my brain with images of a crystal-lined cavern inside a computer. I love the rhythmic beat of the military train, how it portrays the steady chugging of an engine. And that part at the beginning where it busts out a sick drum riff always gets me hyped up. Even the stage select theme is a banger, and I might be grasping at straws here, but I think there was a lot of intention behind this theme. This is the first time that X has had to jump into the line of duty with doubt in his mind. To me, the track sounds like a mental battle of his father's wish for peace and his duty to fight. Of course, this could all just be bullshit since the same theme plays for Zero, and Lord knows he's all too happy to jump into the fray. There are two kinds of final boss themes. The kind that's uplifting to empower the player, and the kind that's dark and foreboding to put the player on edge and intimidate them. We'll take a wild guess what Sigma's final form sounds like. This is just a little bit scary for a kid when it sounds like fighting Satan with a chainsaw in one hand and a minigun in the other. But let me tell you, that just made it all the more satisfying the first time I conquered my doubt and took him down. Man, what a great game. And despite how many times I've played it, working on this video revealed a few things I didn't know about it, like how Web Spider is weak to Twin Slasher. I never knew since I've always started with this level for the boot upgrade. It was pretty wild seeing this animation for the first time. These walls that you shoot through in the opening stage? Call me a dunce, but I never thought to just jump right over them. And I used to think this was a fully completed save file, but thanks to a bro on Discord, I learned about the EX tank hidden way up here in the snow base, and all it does is boost your starting lives to 4. I wish I could say I was a super cool guy that never needed it, but nope, I was just clueless. I think I'm gonna email this video to Capcom USA. I want them to know that there are people that still love the X series, and it's just not right that it hasn't gotten a new game in, oh Jesus Christ, it's been almost 20 years. Look, Capcom, I understand that you guys don't care about Maximo, Power Stone, or Darkstalkers, but this is Mega Man X, the coolest game series ever, and what used to be one of your staple franchises. Isn't it about time you dusted off that blue helmet for one more Maverick hunt? And don't worry about trying to fit Axel into a well-designed X game. I think most people would be fine with you forgetting he exists. Thank you so much for watching me gush about one of my favorite video games. I have a bunch of other videos like this one, plus a huge video about shoot 'em ups coming up in October. Please subscribe if you'd like to see it. Until next time, this is A Skeleton signing out. Oh my god.